Hello, and welcome back. Today, we are exploring a topic that's crucial for anyone running a business, aspiring entrepreneur, or even just a curious consumer in Nairobi or beyond. First things first. What is a brand? At its core, a brand is more than just a logo or a catchy name. It's the identity of a business, product, or service that sets it apart from the competition. Think of it as the personality of your company. The way customers recognize and remember you. A brand encompasses elements like words, symbols, designs, or even sounds and colors that distinguish your goods or services. For instance, when you see KFC, you immediately think of fast food from a specific chain. That's branding in action. In legal terms, a brand often refers to a trademark, which provides exclusive rights to use that identifier in commerce. But brands go beyond legality. They build trust, loyalty, and value. A strong brand can increase customer retention by up to 20 to 30%, according to various business studies, because people associate it with quality and reliability. In Kenya, where our economy is bustling with everything from tech startups in Silicon Savannah to artisanal crafts in local markets, understanding branding is key to standing out. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about creating an emotional connection that turns one-time buyers into lifelong advocates. Now, let's delve deeper into the concept of a brand. Historically, branding dates back to ancient times when farmers would mark their livestock with hot irons to claim ownership. Hence the term brand. Fast forward to the modern era, and branding has evolved into a sophisticated strategy involving marketing, psychology, and law. In Kenya, brands play a vital role in our diverse economy. Take, for example, the success of Kenyan coffee brands that have gone global. Their branding emphasizes origin, quality, and sustainability, appealing to international consumers who value ethical sourcing. A brand isn't static, it adapts to cultural shifts, like how many Kenyan brands now incorporate Swahili elements or eco-friendly messaging to resonate with younger, environmentally conscious demographics. But without protection, a brand is vulnerable. Imagine pouring years into building your reputation, only for someone to copy it and undercut your prices with inferior products. That's why registration is the next logical step we'll explore. Shifting gears, how do you register a brand in Kenya? Well, in legal speak, registering a brand means securing a trademark through the Kenya Industrial Property Institute, or KIPI, which operates under the Ministry of Investments, Trade, and Industry. This process isn't just paperwork. It's your shield against copycats. Let's break it down step by step, as if we are walking through it together. First, you need to conduct a preliminary trademark search. This is crucial to ensure your proposed brand isn't already taken or too similar to an existing one, which could lead to rejection or future disputes. You can do this yourself at KIPI's offices in Nairobi or online through their database, but it's wise to hire a professional agent or lawyer to avoid oversights. The search fee is modest, around 3,000 Kenyan shillings for locals, but it saves headaches later. Once cleared, prepare your application. You'll fill out Form TM2, which requires details like your name, address, a clear representation of the mark, 7 copies if it's a logo, and a description of the goods or services it covers. Trademarks are classified under the NICE classification system, which has 45 classes, 34 for goods and 11 for services. For example, if you're branding a new soda, that falls under Class 32 for beverages. After preparing your documents, submit the application to KIPI along with the filing fee. For Kenyan residents, it's about 4,000 Kenyan shillings per class, plus additional costs if you're claiming priority from a foreign application under the Paris Convention. Foreign applicants must appoint a local agent, as per the rules, and provide a power of attorney. Once filed, KIPI conducts a formality examination to check if everything's in order, proper forms, fees paid, and basic compliance. If it passes, they move to substantive examination, where they assess if the mark is distinctive, not deceptive, and doesn't conflict with existing registrations. This can take several months, sometimes up to a year, due to backlogs, but patience is key here. If there are objections, you'll get a chance to respond or amend your application. Assuming all goes well, your mark gets accepted and is published in the Kenya Industrial Property Journal or the Kenya Gazette for 60 days. This is the opposition period, where anyone can challenge your application if they believe it infringes on their rights. Oppositions are like mini-trials before the registrar, involving evidence and arguments. If no opposition or if you win, KIPI issues your certificate of registration. Congratulations! You now have exclusive rights for 10 years, renewable indefinitely every decade with a fee of around 5,000 Kenyan shillings. But remember, registration is territorial. It only protects you in Kenya, so if you're exporting, consider international options like the Madrid Protocol, which Kenya joined in 2015. Throughout this process, working with an IP lawyer can streamline things and increase success rates, as they handle nuances like proving distinctiveness for non-traditional marks, such as sounds or scents. Let me expand on why distinctiveness matters in registration. Your brand can't be generic or descriptive. Like calling your shoe brand shoes. Because it wouldn't distinguish your products. Instead, aim for arbitrary or fanciful names, like Nike for sportswear, which has no inherent meaning but becomes synonymous with the brand through use. In Kenya, KIPI might reject marks that are scandalous, contrary to public order, or identical to state emblems. Also, consider multi-class applications if your brand spans categories, but each class incurs extra fees. Post-registration, maintain records of use, thus trademarks can be cancelled for non-use after 5 years if challenged. Real-world example, Kenyan telecom giant Safaricom has fiercely protected its M-Pesa brand, registering it in multiple classes to cover financial services and beyond. This proactive approach has helped them fend off imitators and expand regionally. Now, transitioning to a more cautionary tale. What are the risks of selling fake branded items to your customers? This is where things get dicey. Selling counterfeits isn't just a shortcut to profits. It's a minefield of dangers that can explode your business, harm your customers, and land you in hot water. First, there's the health and safety risk. Fake products often cut corners on quality. Think counterfeit cosmetics laced with mercury or lead, leading to skin damage or poisoning. In Kenya, where the festive season sees a spike in fake goods like electronics and toys, consumers face real hazards, such as faulty chargers causing fires or substandard medicines failing to treat illnesses. The Anti-Counterfeit Authority estimates that counterfeits cost our economy billions annually, but the human cost is immeasurable. Ailments, injuries, or even deaths from contaminated food or drugs. Beyond physical harm, there's reputational damage. If customers discover they've bought fakes from you, trust evaporates. Word spreads fast in Kenya's tight-knit communities and on social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, leading to boycotts and lost sales. Legitimate businesses suffer too, thus fakes erode brand value and create unfair competition. Imagine stocking knockoff Adidas sneakers. When they fall apart quickly, customers blame the brand, not you, but you lose repeat business. Economically, you're exposed to seizures. Authorities can raid your shop, confiscate stock, then shut you down. Plus, civil lawsuits from brand owners could wipe out your profits through damages. In e-commerce, platforms like Jumia face scrutiny for hosting fakes, risking shutdowns or fines. Morally, it's exploitative. Preying on low-income buyers who can't afford originals but deserve safe products. In a country like ours, where poverty affects many, selling fakes perpetuates inequality by delivering inferior value. Let's not forget the broader societal risks. Counterfeiting fuels organized crime, including smuggling across borders with Somalia or Uganda, undermining our security. It also deprives the government of tax revenue, straining public services like healthcare and education. For small traders in markets like Gikomba or Toi, the temptation is real amid economic pressures, but the long-term fallout, legal fees, jail time, family hardship, isn't worth it. Studies show that regions with high counterfeiting see reduced innovation, as genuine creators fear theft. In Kenya's creative industries, like fashion or music, this stifles growth. To mitigate, always source from verified suppliers, check holograms or serial numbers, then educate yourself on authenticity markers. But ultimately, the safest path is steering clear of fakes altogether. Moving on to the legal framework. What laws govern this in Kenya? The cornerstone is the Anti-Counterfeit Act of 2008, which prohibits trade in counterfeit goods and establishes the Anti-Counterfeit Authority, ACA, to enforce it. This act defines counterfeiting broadly, covering imitation of protected goods without authorization, including manufacturing, importing, or selling fakes. It ties into intellectual property rights like trademarks, copyrights, and patents. Complementing this is the Trademarks Act, Cap 506, which protects registered marks and allows owners to sue for infringement. Under this, unauthorized use of a similar mark that confuses consumers is illegal. The Industrial Property Act covers patents and industrial designs, often overlapping with branding. The Constitution of Kenya, in Article 40, protects property rights, including IP, while Article 46 safeguards consumer rights against unsafe goods. Internationally, Kenya adheres to treaties like the Paris Convention and TRIPS Agreement, harmonizing our laws with global standards. The ACA has powers to inspect, seize, then destroy fakes, and requires importers to record IP rights for border checks. Recent amendments, like the 2021 recordation regulations, mandate brand owners to register their marks with ACA for proactive enforcement. Other laws include the Penal Code for Fraud and the Standards Act for quality control. In e-commerce, the Consumer Protection Act holds platforms accountable for fakes. These laws create a multi-layered net, but enforcement challenges like corruption or resource shortages persist. Still, they're evolving, with tech like blockchain for traceability on the horizon. Diving into specifics of the Anti-Counterfeit Act, it criminalizes possession, sale, or distribution of fakes in trade, with exceptions for personal use. The ACA coordinates with police, customs, then KIPI, conducting raids and awareness campaigns. For medicines, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board adds layers against fake drugs. In agriculture, laws protect seed brands from counterfeits that harm farmers' yields. Overall, these laws aim to foster a fair market, encouraging investment and innovation in Kenya. Now, the sobering part: what are the legal consequences of selling fakes in Kenya? If caught, penalties are severe to deter this lucrative crime. Under the Anti-Counterfeit Act, first-time offenders face up to 5 years in prison or a fine of at least 3 times the retail value of the goods, or both. For repeat offenses, it's up to 15 years or 5 times the value. Courts consider risks to health or safety when sentencing, so fake meds could mean harsher terms. Goods are seized and destroyed, leaving you with losses. In one case, a Nairobi businessman was fined 400,000 Kenyan shillings or 1 year in jail for counterfeit HP products. Civilly, brand owners can sue for damages, injunctions, and profits accounting. Under the Trademarks Act, the infringement carries fines or imprisonment, plus confiscation. The Penal Code adds charges for fraud, with up to 7 years for some offenses. Businesses may face closure, and individuals blacklisting. For importers, failure to declare IP rights leads to detention at borders. Appeals exist, but convictions stick on records, hindering future opportunities. In high-profile raids, like those during festive seasons, multiple charges compound penalties. The message is clear: the risks far outweigh any short-term gains. Finally, what steps do original brand owners take legally to protect themselves? It starts with registration. Both trademark with KIPI and IP recordation with ACA for border protection. Once registered, monitor the market through agents or software for infringements. If spotted, send a cease and desist letter demanding the infringer stop, often resolving issues out of court. If ignored, file a complaint with ACA, providing evidence like samples and affidavits. ACA investigates, potentially raiding and seizing goods. For criminal action, they prosecute, seeking convictions and destruction orders civilly, sue in high court for injunctions, damages, and delivery up of fakes. Opposition during others' registration prevents conflicting marks. For domains, use KENEX dispute resolution. Internationally, leverage Madrid for multi-country protection. Brands like Coca-Cola in Kenya regularly train customs and collaborate with ACA for raids. Settlement agreements often include undertakings not to infringe again. Proactive steps like public awareness campaigns build goodwill. In essence, enforcement is a blend of prevention, detection, and action. To expand on enforcement strategies, brand owners often hire private investigators to gather evidence, crucial for strong cases. In Kenya, where counterfeits enter via ports like Mombasa, recording with customs allows automatic seizures. Legal teams specialize in IP, navigating courts efficiently. Success stories include luxury brands dismantling fake networks, recovering millions. However, challenges like delayed justice persist, so alternative dispute resolution, like mediation, is gaining traction. For SMEs, government subsidies for registration help level the playing field. As we wrap up this extensive discussion, remember that brands are the heartbeat of business in Kenya. Protecting them fosters innovation and trust. Whether you're building your own or respecting others, knowledge is power. Thanks for tuning in. Stay informed, stay legal. Until next time.